Welcome everybody, it's going to be Suning versus RNG, and I have quite a bit of housekeeping to do. First of all, the achievements, I know what they are, but going through them all quickly will be hard. So look at the one with the brain. It's blue and here there's like a cogwheel going round. That one is about how many times a player has roped in the tournament. 15 times gets you the blue one, which is rare. 30 times gets you an epic, and 45 gets legendary. Lee, being a fairly quick player and keeps winning 3-0, has only got the blue one, and I'll introduce some more of those as we go. Second point, I missed a I said there was a lethal that wasn't in the last broadcast. That's of course when you kill a Dread Raven, the other one gets smaller. That's fairly straightforward. And thirdly, I've been saying and led to believe that the tournament ends after 9 weeks. That is incorrect. Various things, including qualifiers for the Gold Club World Cup, happen after 9 weeks, but the tournament goes, as I understand it, 13. So that brings us to today and the fact that Suning, being 4-10, whilst a really bad record and in a lot of trouble, doesn't mean they're out of that top 6 yet like I thought it might do. And so they are still in with a chance. But Lee is going very well on a personal level. We'll be looking for wins to try and secure his spot in World Championship playoffs, which I believe are settled on 9 weeks, but I will correct that should I need to. Sorry for that, and hopefully it hasn't detracted from your enjoyment. As we go into the lineups here, Lee with the Warlock being banned out, which is quite unusual. Perhaps SYU, as I'm led to believe his name is not comfortable with it. His one achievement is a Battleground achievement. He is more of a Battlegrounds player at the moment. So maybe just didn't want to play against a Plot Twist Warlock. It's quite a complicated thing to face if maybe you're a little less experienced than the other players. I don't know if that is true. I'm just going on the fact that he has been representing the team in a different format. The two do definitely translate into each other. We've seen very good players go from one to the other without any difficulty. Anyway, that's left Lee's Demon Hunter, Hunter and Warrior up. Regular viewers will know that I'm a big fan of anyone who can get up their Demon Hunter and their Warrior. I always think they are strongly favoured, even though this is last hero standing. SYU has lost his Demon Hunter, so has the fairly more traditional Druid, as we see a lot in the Gold Team Championship, his Priest and his Warrior, and he's opened with the Warrior. Looking to sweep. There's no reason to believe that it's in a bad spot against Lee, so no reason not to just open with it and try and go all the way through the lineup. On a personal level, I would rather keep the Warrior back and make sure I run it into that Demon Hunter. So maybe would open with something else, but this is fine as well. Sometimes it's very clearly defined what you should do in the opener. In Last Hero, this is not one of those times. He can do what he likes, and he's got a chance of sweeping through here. Taking on the Hunter first, not a bad position to be in. Let's have a look where we are at. So the weapon getting destroyed on turn 2 by the Swampoos was a pretty big deal. Warrior did manage to get his Risky Skipper though. That's the main thing you want to do. Activates nearly every card in your deck, including card draw. And so with that safely hidden away in his hand, he's okay with the weapon being blown up. But it does cost you a lot of cards, a lot of damage, and a bit of time. And that time has given Lee the chance to get this rather big Apex Predator onto the board. SYU wondering how to challenge this. Never fun when you have to play the Parachute Brigade without another pirate to reduce the mana, and that's what's holding him back here, I feel. Obviously he'll be calculating on which turn he expects to play one of these Battle Rages. And I'd suggest that you try and get the first Battle Rage down pretty quickly when Hunter is curving into the meat of their deck. like they're clutter. You're probably never going to get 2 big ones cast, so I don't think he was right, but on the last turn, for instance, could even consider just cycling one and moving on with your life. Just because, again, the chances of actually casting 2 big ones are pretty small. So the second one's going to sit in your hand for a long time, and in turn that means you can afford to, let's go with air quotes, waste it. But he's got plans for it, and figure that the 2 armor was better than the 1 cycled card. He might well be right. Big deal for Lee here. He doesn't really want to waste mana. It's not the hunter's job, and these turns from 5 through to 7 can sometimes be a bit awkward in that regard. Siamat and Bran try and sort that out for you. Right, the big deal here with the Armor Smith is that it has 4 health. I mean, obviously the armor can sometimes be useful, and it may turn out to be the case here. I think I want to start by putting the bomb in here, and right, that's the it's the absolute worst. 1 damage face is literally the worst result. There are a lot of things he could consider if that hadn't happened. Now he's actually going to go for the skipper, which I presume it means... Actually no, he's going to go with the brute, not the battle rage. He's not going to be able to get the battle rage off, unfortunately. No, I'm not happy with this. Now, if he plays the brute there, he loses the parachutist, but the 6-1 blows up, and then he can just trade into the 4-4. I think that would be better. And that stems from... It's very distracting having 2 battle rages in your hand. But I feel that he may be underestimating just how violent a 6-1 is. Yeah, and Lee sort of doing some processing here. I don't think he'll do this, but just for instance, this has opened up the opportunity to go 15 to face. Just to show you where we're at right now. More realistically, I think he'll be wanting to get this 6 into face because all the trades look bad. And with that in mind, he's going to find ways to remove the other minions. 6-1 is obviously very precarious in this matchup, but it's a lot of damage. Combined with the 4 from the Zigsaw, 10 is chunky. Yeah, he's considering what to do here, but I think you take this out. You make Sio have another answer. Some of the answers are in the form of weapons. This could be... It's not going to survive, but it could be very distracting. And as you can see here, Challenger's going to take 6 damage if he puts it in. And I feel that last turn was just the error here for SYU. Yeah, he's got to get rid of it, but look at the damage he's taking now. Just from what we can see on board. He's going to just be the 8, and Hunter can run out of stuff. Yeah. Lee has so many options here. I think you play the Dino Tamer, and I think you go face. Do you go face with everything? So you're putting 8 to face, that's 12 left over, and you want to work around that. I feel that then you put the faceless into... Probably the faceless into the 5-4, unless you want to get the prime into your deck. Ignore the 1-4, even though obviously it can be... It's really complicated, actually. I think I ignore the 1-4 because I want my opponent to be on 12 and have 12 available. But he may want to rampage it. This is definitely not straightforward. Yeah, this is the exact play I would have made. The main thing being to make sure you're setting up good lethal, and putting SYU down to 8 gives him all kinds of problems in that regard. And if Leaoh wins this, I was talking about SYU potentially sweeping with this warrior, but if Leaoh can win it, he's got his warrior, which will likely get countered by the priest, but then he has Demon Hunter. And Demon Hunter versus Druid is good. Demon Hunter versus Priest is very good. This is with the 1 mana Twin Slice. I want to remind you, a lot of teams didn't bring Demon Hunter last week because of that perceived nerf. I think it was a nerf, but I think balance change is a more accurate description. Like, the card is a different card now. It does a lot of damage. It just holds back on the combos, makes your combos worse. But in terms of beating Druid and Priest, where how much damage can I put into one Hearthstone turn is kind of your way of winning, then yeah, the balance change helped in those 2 matches, in my opinion, or certainly didn't make them much worse. SYU really struggled to clear this up. We can see there is lethal available from the Dragon's Bane, doing 7 damage on its own. And Lee takes a 1-0 lead. And if you hear clicking, I'm running for my achievements sheet. But I don't know if you're going to get them all today. You might have to wait for another day to learn all the achievements. Yeah, it's not coming up. Let's have a look. So the one that is a man with hands on hips is a strength icon. And a rare one of those is to do with winning how many times with full health. So a rare one, the blue one, is 3 times with full health. The epic one is 5 times with full health. And the legendary is 7 times with full health. Again, I want to thank Zelno, Z-E-L-K-N-O-W, on Twitter for their help with all these achievements. It's something that I've been curious about since about week 3 when they first started appearing. But getting hold of a full list was quite awkward, but now we have it. And hopefully we can have fun with it, like I'm sure the Chinese audience are doing. Just a reminder that this, some statistics are meant to be fun. You don't have to go, oh no, he doesn't deserve a legendary. Why would you want a legendary achievement in roping? Look, just enjoy it for what it is. Hearthstone is serious business at the top end, but we're allowed to have fun with it as viewers and casters, so let's do that. Druid into the Hunter. This can be a little bit awkward because the Druid doesn't like absorbing this damage. And really, I think that's why you're in a bit of trouble here. I can see this just going 3-0, honestly. Again, I'm not sure of his level in Hearthstone as such. But Suning, very talented, relatively new team. I think 2018 they were formed. So still plenty to go on. Just going to see if we can find out a little bit about SYU. Yeah, has won invitationals before, but nothing big to his name. And yeah, Suning were the Hearthstone division of Suning was February 2019, which I believe was in time for the World Championships, which Jing played in. Okay. Again, we get to the tricky turn for Lee in terms of planning. Well, that helps a lot because that fills out the curve nicely. 1-drops in Highlander decks are so important for this reason. Yeah, you want them on turn 1. But your Highlander deck's always a bit chunky. It's generally looking to play on curve, no matter what breed of Highlander you are. Even Highlander Priest tries to play quite a lot of its stuff on curve. You just play the best thing you have in your hand each turn. So 1-drops mean you don't have to skip a beat on that curve. They fill in the cracks that would form if your hand was 3-4 drops and nothing else on turn 5. more options for turn 6 now with the 2 drops, same sort of thing. And this is why you'll see the best Highlander decks do have these curves. And I think it's something you'll see with Highlander Mage, which often doesn't have 1 and 2 drops, is it can just be weak early, but it can also be weak in the middle turns where it ends up playing a 4 drop on turn 5, which again is just wasting mana, and wasting mana is pretty criminal. If you and I both go into a shop with $10 and I spend $10 and you spend $7, I've got more stuff than you. That's how mana works. Well, for a player who hasn't wrote a ridiculous number of times, Lee's taking his time over this turn. Because it's so close to lethal, nothing quite works. So when you're close to lethal, the game gets really weird because you don't get anything extra for delivering lethal. Let's have a look what he's decided to go with. Well, this sets up lethal. Obviously it's more complicated as well because it's going into the Mount Seller turn. He wants the maximum way to deal with Mount Sellers. He also knows that his things are going to get bog beamed this turn. So working out if a 4/5 is likely to survive is quite a big deal. Bone Wraith had more chance of surviving because of the Reborn, but obviously it doesn't do much. Do you care? He's challenging, so you have to kill this 4/5. That being said, SYU does have quite a lot of stuff available. He can kill off one of these, and again, if he hasn't played a massive amount, he won't know like all the beasts. Maybe he doesn't know his Diving Griffin out to hit the 6/4 here, for instance. Just little things. Whereas I'd be trying to take down the Dragonbane here, I think. This might not be too bad, but I think that giving himself a chance to deal with the Dragonbane and a 5/4 may have been better. There's only 15 of those 3-drop beasts, and you've got 2 chances to roll a Griffin. Leaving up a 4 health minion doesn't seem the worst, but this doesn't seem ridiculous. Like, you can see he's generally a little bit unsure, so I don't want to pick on him too hard. And again, I've picked on players before who have turned out to be incredibly good players. Let's not pretend anything else here. He does have a win, SYU, in the second phase, week 5? Week 4. He has a win over XHX. He beat XHX the day before XHX had that marathon against Bunny Hopper. So, you know, XHX one of the... I think if you take away Lee and Sif, XHX is in the next tier of players. Like, Lee and Sif are the pure world-class players for me. And I think XHX is in the up-and-coming super strong players tier. Players that I just don't want to face. Well, I do want to face them because it means that I'm in the Gold Team Championship. But yeah, players that if I need to win, don't particularly want to face them. Right, SYU. Big turn coming up here, which Lee has allowed to some degree. He'd have to have traded away way so much stuff to deal with a Mount Seller that he's relying on a couple of hero powers and a kill command to get over the finishing line sort of flat on his face before getting killed. And it's a slightly bold strategy because now SYU's up to 15. He should get some Naught mana spells and some wands to play with this. It's alright. Don't forget, the Mount Seller can actually attack, not something you see very often because the game is usually over after the big Mount Seller or the Mount Seller gets removed. Right, SYU big board, is it enough? It's alright. That's it though. 6, 7, 8. Is there a beast? No beast for the 13. no beast. And this is really bad news for Lee. Wow, he's sort of played to this lethal for a couple of turns now. But when it comes to it, he doesn't have the beast available. See that mini frustration. So what do you do? Well, next thing is to not die next turn. To a savage draw. Thing is now, getting rid of the mount seller is almost pointless. I wonder if he's just going to go face and... maybe shoot something down? Yeah. Oh, the Savage Roar's burned. Don't think he was... Oh, I gotta say, I don't think it was lethal. You have to be very careful saying that with Savage Roar. 5-7. 9, 13, 23. Plus 4 from the power bar. 27 that I can see just skimming through. Oh, plus the wrath. Yeah, it was lethal. It was just lethal. Yep, I think there was enough mana for what I wanted to do. Power of the Wild, Wrath, Savage Roar. Wow. But now SYU on 7. That's not lethal. But he's going to remove all the stuff. Heals up as well. You can see that bad things are happening. As well as clearing off the board. Nicely worked. This looks like a pretty good turn to me. Kill your opponent's board, buff your stuff, and hit something into your opponent's face. That has to be at least close to correct. And now Lee seems to be out of this. And SYU gets it to 1 apiece. Slightly against how you'd expect there. Lee did try to set up that lethal over 2 turns, didn't have the beast. Think he got unfortunate, but he had a lot of decisions to make in that game and twice left the mount seller up in favour of damage. So quite a lot to go through on that one. It'll be very interesting to watch it again and see how it would have worked out if he'd just chosen to wipe out his own board and trade into the mount seller. Difficult game. But now he's onto his Demon Hunter, and he still has Warrior left after this as well. Which is perfectly functional, but his Warrior he won't want to run into the Priest. Which actually is interesting to me. Maybe I'd have queued the Warrior first here. Because the better matchup for the Warrior is definitely the Druid, not the Priest. So sort of get its chance, and if it wins on its chance against this, you've still got your Demon Hunter against the Priest. Yeah, I think I'd queue the Warrior here. I don't think there's any mind games, so I think this is just wrong. Oh, so that being said, I think that the individual grading is based on score as well as wins. So he's trying to get the 3-1 by queuing the Demon Hunter instead of a 3-2. It doesn't make that much difference for the wins and gives him a much better chance of getting his 3-1 instead of 3-2. Okay. So he's putting the individual scores first, and I know he has 3 3-0s to his name. I think the other game wasn't a 3-0, but you get the point. He's... In fact, I think I can find that. Let me find that. Nope. Results have gone from the sheet I used. Okay, but I'm pretty sure he had 3 3-0s, and so he's obviously in contention for being the best player, and I imagine the team have given him clearance to try and qualify for that World Championships playoffs, because winning the Team League is gigantic, obviously, but also having a player in the World Championships is also gigantic. And yeah, I'm in favour. So you see here from SYU, just making a minion early on. He's got to play for next turn, he's got to play for turn 7. So why not try and slow down the Demon Hunter a little bit by playing something on the board? Now Lee's trying to work out possibly whether to use the coin here, honestly. You could Beaming Sidekick and trade, or go face actually. You can play a Battle Fiend, coin out the Umberwing, and that just looks good. You do nothing on turn 4, but the deck is full of 4-drops. Sorry, the deck is full of 3-drops. But with a weapon equipped, you should be able to use the Adept on 5. I think that was a very tough call. I actually would have liked to see the coin used there. The downside is that next turn, the way he's played it, he can now play Altruist, coin, Sidekick, do 2 damage. This is a perfect pickup, by the way, in Kane. Do 2 damage and have a 4/4 Altruist just chilling on the board. Also, if he uses the coin, though, he has the problem whether to attack. It doesn't boost his Battle Fiend this turn if he doesn't attack. And that sounds fine, but that's 1 less damage it does every turn for the rest of the game. It'll be on 3 when it should be on 4. It'll be on 4 when it should be on 5. So another remarkably difficult turn. But with the pickup of Kane, I think I'd like to see out. Oh, is he going to save the Altruist coin, actually? Is he just going to Kane face? This is so complicated. I love Demon Hunter for this. There are about 5 different plays here that, if he makes them, I can say, yeah, I like this, that is right. And I don't know what is right. I don't mind admitting it. I can tell you why he's made the decision, though, the pros and cons. You tend not to want to use Kane if you can help it against Druid until after their Mount Seller turn. That way you can just ignore the taunts. Not so much the generator taunts, but usually a Bog Beam goes on the Mount Seller and it gets in the way, and the Mount Seller... Sorry, an Iron Bark goes on the Mount Seller. And they also might blow up your Kane with Innovates and Claws and Bog Beams. So you'd rather it not be on the board now. But what he wants to do is keep back this Altruist, because Altruist coin plus the 1-drop, and then he may get lucky and top deck another 1-drop, it's very possible. That will do a lot of damage to the generated beasts. It may kill them, it may not, but Mutka's 5/5, but a lot of the others only have 1 and 2 health. So he rated that higher than the potential problem with Kane, which is Kane dies, now your minions all have to trade into a 7/11 Mount Seller. Now I'm not sure that's the play I would have made. Also, chose to preserve the weapon. That was another decision he had to make. I think that one's more straightforward because he has got the Gladebound Adept in hand, but if he wants to Adept next turn, he could coin. This is a super pickup. This is a super pickup for him. And this shows a lot of his thinking for the last turn. He does pick up the 1-drop needed. Remember, you can play from the left, so he can play Altruist, coin, Sidekick, and Twin Slice, both parts in 1 turn. That will do 4 damage to all the opposing minions and give him 4 attack. And that will as good as wipe out the Druid's board in almost every circumstance. So really, depending on what SYU manages to remove here, and he's got to remove the Kane. If he doesn't remove the Kane, he's just dead to any Demon Hunter cards. So let's see, he can do the Altruist for 4 that I was talking about. Will he have any mana left over? No. So he would have to put something, probably the 6/4, into the Mount Seller, and would only do 2 extra damage face. which should be a total of 6 damage to face. Oh, can he double... Wait. Can he double buff? Instead of using the twin slice I'm talking about, you can. You could double sidekick on the 6/4. I think he just ended up one off, but he would have had a 6x still up. Interesting. So this way, my way would have had a 6x still up, but x would have been pretty small and easy to remove. This way there's a really annoying Altruis up, which is guaranteed to do 2 damage next turn if it doesn't die. With the slices. Or 1 damage at least anyway. This is why you're drawing cards and goes into the tank, because none of this is helping this turn. I think he can stay alive, like Power the Wild and give it Ironbark. Is that a play? He would still be able to Mount Seller, Moonfire, Fungal next turn if he's alive, which he should be. I feel like Ironbarking up an Eagle or a Power the Wild minion is forced at this point. He thinks he's giving the challenge out, maybe. Saying, if you don't kill me next turn, I'm going to Mount Seller, Ironbark, and I don't think you can get through. This is a difficult call, but I think he needs to make something, honestly. Cycles. I don't think this works very often, but I might be wrong. Well, it was close. That's why you did take a chance. And the benefits of that chance would have come into play, obviously, should he have not died. He'd be able to make a lot of damage on the board. Alright, game number 4. It's Priest versus Demon Hunter. And this is a pretty woeful matchup. But if that's why you can get through it with the Priest, he does get into the Warrior, which is then a good matchup for him. So he does have the Breath of the Infinite. That's one of the big cards in the matchup. Lee is playing a fairly traditional list here for the Demon Hunter. So a little bit after this match was played, the meta had a lot of 2/3s in it for Demon Hunter. After the next round of nerfs, this is after the Twin Slice nerf, but before the Metamorphosis nerf. And so the 2/3s came into being more then than now. This is basically just the old list. Second Breath of the Infinite. Along with Penance in hand as well. I feel like SYU, he's definitely going to be okay for removing enemy stuff for a while. I always want to kill these things. And he knows it's not in hand, but if a sidekick lands on this, the game ends. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you end up having to Breath of the Infinite, and then your opponent has a 4/3 that still can get bigger, and it just isn't very pleasant. Just gonna Mind Flayer it? Okay, challenging the board. I can handle this. Nice pickup for Lee. He can freeze, obviously, here and go face with the 2 minions. What else is available? The only other thing he can do is some sort of weird Chaos Strike maneuver that ends in not much damage being done. And it's all about the damage being done right now. Must mention, of course, Lee's mini gamble, playing the Demon Hunter before the Warrior, has put him in the position he wants to be in. He's got the exact same chance now. Both of them have to beat... one of them has to beat the Priest. But if he does it with the Demon Hunter, he does get that 3-1 win that I think he's looking for. There is the sidekick. Will the game end? Probably not against Mind Flayer. Double Chaos Strike would waste the damage. So we're looking at Hero Power, and that's quite tough because he also has the option to play Umberwing as well. So my instinct is Hero Power, Sidekick, and trade into the Creator Minion. But there's definitely a case for Umberwing. This is what he does in the end. Again, taking his time to get this right. That's why you... limited options. I think he should breath and just clear. Oh, but he's got the dragon in his hand. So breath doesn't hurt his own minion. He'd like it to. Can't he like tell the dragon to go away? Give it $10 to go to the cinema or something? While he quickly gets these breaths off, and then, you know, everything will be fine after that. Thinking of now. He's very reticent to use this. I'd have just penanced it away, I think. Traded my minion. He's been trying to defend his own, but I'm not sure that works. And this just looks nasty to me. This is a lot of damage coming in. So he's going to time rip it. And he has only technically taken 5 damage, but Lee's done a lot of setting up in the process as well. No qualms about just sculling here. He's going to be able to play something most likely afterwards. Oh, this is lovely pickup. Just seen a Breath of the Infinite. Now you can get to make a nice wide board. Obviously, we know there's another Breath, but you don't play around the second Breath. At least not when you pick up such a good hand. Lee is looking to get minions out there. If this gets breathed, then not much else happens. He gets to do it again next turn. But SYU still in this on 24. If you can deal with the next board, which he might be able to with double penance, maybe he gets in there. And Lee's just going to start the shooting. Metamorphosis, 5 damage. Good. I was just checking that. And trying to get as much damage as he can out there. He's going to be able to defend this Satyr as well. And challenging SYU to all sorts of things here. Soul Mirror doesn't get it done. Not much does. Double Penance does, as it happens. Doesn't clear, but it gets rid of the offending article. He can't clear a wide board, so he needs to kill this off. So he's looking for help. That's a nice play. He's not very happy about what he sees, because he gets to use one of these cards. That's the good news. The bad news is his opponent has this hand. Umberwind's very tempting here. You get to do 1 damage to the satyr, which it's on when you get through the Divine Shield with a penance. And at least have some board presence of sorts. Although you know your board presence is going to be blown up by Altruis, so it's really not making things easy for him. Maybe he has to take the twin slice, or the second slice. Takes the Altruis. This seems ambitious. This whole turn seems really ambitious. Let's see how this works out. Lee's trying to work out what SYU's setting up here. He knows that, like, the play we saw, the penances obviously get the lifesteal, where they wouldn't on the Satyr Overseer, but this is just going to cause havoc. I feel like it's some advanced bluff that I'm missing. But Lee just does the natural looking play. Creates a huge board. And challenges SYU to draw low, and he has drawn low, and he can clear the board with the Altruis. Can he though? What's he going to get for his thoughts here? It makes all the difference. He gets it, and he now clears up. Showing that last turn his pick was pretty spectacular, but you can't believe it. He is going to go down to the weapon being drawn from the top. And he did plan out how to clear that board. So fair play. He knew he was taking a chance. But wasn't enough for him. And Lee wins yet again for RNG.